The school beauty's family went bankrupt, watching the school beauty being mocked and laughed at by everyone. I forced the 30,000 yuan I had saved up for years into her hands. Later, I found out her family was actually restructuring its assets to prepare for a public listing. I gathered the courage to approach Liu Ruyan. Liu Ruyan lowered her head. Her delicate face was flushed with impatience. At the recent class reunion, the classmates subtly ridiculed her, especially some of the girls who had once been close to her. When they found out she had gone bankrupt, it seemed like they wanted to take back all the humiliation they had endured. Watching a girl once as high as the sun now fall into the mortal realm, many were not satisfied. They wanted to stomp her even further into the ground. Watching her covered in dirt and shame, those boys who once admired Liu Ruyan now avoided her like she was a venomous snake. The small, fragile Liu Ruyan before me made my heart ache a little. She must be feeling so down. Graduation is almost here. The bright future she once had now seems muddy and hard to walk on. I heard from classmates that her house had been sealed off. Her family might soon be homeless. I took my bank card out of my pocket and pressed it into her hand. Her hand was soft and warm. The moment our fingers touched, I couldn't help but blush. What is this? Liu Ruyan, dropping her impatience, looked at me in confusion. This is 230,000 yuan. The password to the bank card is 123,456. The money isn't much, but it's a token of my sincerity. I believe you'll definitely get through this difficult time. Liu Ruyan looked at me in disbelief, her eyes filled with confusion. I took a deep breath and stepped forward to hug her. I heard that when you're feeling down, a comforting hug can be incredibly soothing. It's okay. The difficulties will pass soon. Liu Ruyan seemed nervous. Her body was tense. She stood still, not moving. I rested my head on her shoulder and continued to encourage her. When I was in high school, my family went bankrupt as well. We moved from a villa district to the suburbs. Our family squeezed into a house smaller than the bathroom we had before. The house was small, but the distance between people became closer. My parents used to argue every day. Now that we have no money, their relationship is actually much better. If you ever face difficulties in the future, you can come to me. Although I don't have much money, I will definitely do my best to help you. By the end of it, I lifted my head and looked at her firmly. Having been through the rain myself, I want to hold an umbrella for you. Liu Ruyan stared at me in a daze. In the past, she was always proud, free-spirited, aloof. But today, she looked strangely naive. It made me feel even more pity for her. Looking at her, I seemed to see the version of myself from the past. I reached out my hand and gently patted her head. Her hair was very soft. Her strands of hair were delicate. Her hair felt like the cat my family used to have. Keep going. I gave her a very bright smile. Liu Ruyan's pupils suddenly contracted. A layer of pink flushed her fair, delicate face. Being pitied by a boy? She must have felt uncomfortable. I waved my hand, then quickly turned and walked away. Graduation is almost here. I need to hurry and find a higher-paying job. In the dorm, my roommates were discussing Liu Ruyan. She's really so unlucky. I've been trying to win her over for years. A fall for years. I thought after graduation, I could finally make her my goddess. But then she went bankrupt. My roommate Liu Yang is handsome. For all 4 years of college, he was always around Liu Ruyan. He swore he would win her over. Actually, although there's no money, Liu Ruyan is still very beautiful. I couldn't help but speak up. Liu Yang rolled his eyes. He Kong, wake up! Love without material support is like a pile of loose sand. With a gust of wind, it'll scatter. And a girl like Liu Ruyan She can't carry anything, can't lift anything, without the halo of a rich girl. She probably can't even support herself. I fell silent. Liu Ruyan isn't as bad as they say. Although Liu Ruyan may seem wild and carefree, she's actually a very good person. She's helped me before. During the winter break of my sophomore year, I worked as a waiter in a high-end private restaurant. I stood outside in a thin uniform. Soon, my body began to freeze. Liu Ruyan and her family came to eat and saw me. After a while, she came out of the private room. She specifically handed me a packet of hand warmers. That was one of the few warm moments I had during that cold day. In just 1 month, graduation will be here. I still haven't found a job. I don't have a place to live yet. Since the family went bankrupt, although the conditions at home are not good, I feel much happier now. Dad no longer stays away from home all day. Mom doesn't go to play mahjong every day anymore. Now our whole family is working hard to make money. We've moved from the outskirts of the city to an old neighborhood in the southern part of the city. The house is small, a 60 square meter to bedroom. We've become just another ordinary family. Thinking about my parents in the neighboring city, I feel full of motivation. Have you found a job yet? I was in the middle of sending out resumes way. I received a message from Liu Ruyan. She also sent me a job listing link. It was for a very famous company in our area. The benefits and compensation were great. Of course, the competition was tough. This company is great. You should give it a try. She's really a kind person. Even though she's struggling herself, she still shares good job opportunities with me. I felt a little moved. But this company has high requirements. The chances of me getting in are slim. However, since it's Liu Ruya who sent it to me, I still decided to give it a try. Congratulations, Mr. He. You've been hired. When can you start working? I looked at the HR manager's enthusiastic face and felt that the world was so surreal. A monthly salary up to 5K, with 2 days off and 15 months salary. I was just applying for an assistant position in the marketing department. How could it be so outrageous? After signing the contract, the HR manager handed me a confidentiality agreement. She said that the salary of internal employees is confidential and should not be shared casually. I left the company feeling a bit guilty, feeling like I had just had a pie fall from the sky, and it hit me right on the head. The pie wasn't done falling yet. The real estate agent called me, saying there was a particularly suitable house. The landlord had high requirements, so the price was very cheap. Looking at the exquisitely decorated two-bedroom apartment, my eyes almost popped out. How much are you asking? $2,000 per month. With this location and decoration, it should be at least $6,000 a month. Tell me the truth, why is it so cheap? I thought something was off with this house. The pie was too big. It must be a trap. The agent hesitated. After a moment of uncertainty, she told me. It turned out that during the renovation, one of the workers accidentally fell off the balcony and died on the spot. The landlord found the atmosphere too gloomy and decided to rent it out, hoping to bring some life to the place. It's fine, it doesn't mind the bad luck. How could I mind its bad luck? I signed the contract with peace of mind, feeling like I had solved two major life issues at once. It's also close to the company. The subway station is right at the entrance of the neighborhood. It's only 2 stops away from the company. After being tempered by fate for a few years, the goddess of luck finally started to smile upon me. On my first day at work, I finally met my department leader, the marketing department manager, Yu Meng. It was actually Yu Meng. On the outside, I remained calm, but my hands unconsciously tightened. Yu Meng was my neighbor in high school. She's 4 years older than me. When I was in high school, she was already in college. She was my first crush during my youth. At that time, both families joked, saying we would get married once I graduated from college. But then my family fell into trouble. Her family immediately distanced themselves. They were afraid my dad would come knocking to borrow money. Yu Meng blocked me. That was when we cut all ties. So many years have passed. Her youthful enthusiasm had grown into maturity and restraint. Her gold-rimmed glasses gave her an extra layer of intellectual charm. He Kong, what a coincidence! Looking at the hand she extended, I bent down and gave a slight bow. Manager Yu, from now on, I'll be your assistant. Please take care of me. Yu Meng smiled. He Kong, you haven't changed at all over the years. Let's go, I'll show you around the company. I followed closely behind Yu Meng, hiding all my emotions deep in my eyes. On the conference table, Yu Meng pointed to my pen. Assistant E, can I borrow your pen for a moment? As I handed her the pen, Yu Meng's fingertips brushed across the back of my hand. She even gave my hand a little squeeze. I felt the warmth of her fingers. I lifted my head, meeting Yu Meng's ambiguous gaze. She couldn't possibly think that I still like her, right? The innocent crush from my youth was thinner than a piece of paper. It could shatter with the slightest pull. The person I am now, I just want to work hard and earn money to give my family a better life. As I was about to leave the company, I saw a small, delicate figure from a distance. As I got closer, it turned out to be Liu Ruyan. What are you doing here? I happily ran toward her. It's all thanks to her. Otherwise, I wouldn't have found such a good job. I was just passing by. Liu Ruyan looked at me nonchalantly, but her ears turned red. Thank you for recommending the job. Have you eaten yet? Let me treat you to a meal. How about it? She glanced at me for a moment, nodding indifferently. Sure, it's fine. I don't have anything else to do. Just then, a BMW drove past me. The window rolled down. Yu Meng smiled and waved at me. He Kong, where do you live? I'll give you a ride back. Thank you, Manager Yu. I'm meeting some friends for dinner, so I won't trouble you. Yu Meng's gaze made me feel uncomfortable. I grabbed Liu Ruyan's hand and turned to leave. Liu Ruyan wore a serious expression. She kept glancing back at Yu Meng. He Kong, who is she? While serving Liu Ruyan some food, I told her the story of Yu Meng and me. Isn't it funny how small the world is? She's now my boss. Liu Ruyan furrowed her brows. If you don't like her, maybe you should consider switching jobs? What are you talking about? Finding a job isn't that easy nowadays. I smiled. I didn't take Liu Ruyan's words to heart. After some time being shaped by society, she would understand how tough survival can be. Liu Ruyan sighed deeply. Finding a job isn't easy. Finding a house isn't easy either. If I can't find a place, I'll have to sleep on the streets. Sleep on the streets? I looked at Liu Ruyan with sympathy. What about your parents? Liu Ruyan put down her chopsticks. She leaned back against her chair. Her expression was melancholic. They went back to the countryside. Now I'm the only one left in this city. I felt even more sorry for her. Bankrupt. House sealed. And now her parents are leaving. Liu Ruyan must be going through such a tough time. I thought about my empty two-bedroom apartment. I cautiously asked, there's still an extra room in my place. Would you like to move in with me? Liu Ruyan hesitated, her eyes filled with uncertainty. Would it be inconvenient? I gave her a reassuring smile. No, not at all. There are 2 rooms anyway. I was planning to find someone to share the rent with. It's perfect timing that you came. Hearing about finding someone to share the rent, Liu Ruyan's gaze darkened slightly. Let's go then. Huh? I don't have a place to stay tonight. Looking at Liu Ruyan's face full of grievance, a twinge of bitterness rose in my heart. She used to spend money as if it were nothing, surrounded by admirers, the center of attention in any crowd. But now, she has to live at someone else's mercy. Let's go to the supermarket. I'll take you to buy some daily necessities. I silently made a vow in my heart to be good to Liu Ruyan. even better than before. To show her that this world isn't just about being materialistic and indifferent. When you're at your lowest, when you're ridiculed, despised, and forgotten, there are still people who can give you strength and accompany you forward. After buying toothbrushes, towels, and other toiletries, we continue to buy blankets, duvet covers, pajamas, slippers, and all the other home essentials. Liu Ruyan eagerly picked out shampoos and skincare products. There was no sign of defeat or embarrassment on her face. She really is a good person, even better than I imagined. Before today, she probably hadn't even heard of the brands of shampoo or skincare products in this supermarket. And yet, in this situation, she didn't indulge in self-pity. I admired Liu Ruyan even more. I remembered when my family went bankrupt, when my clothes went from costing hundreds to just a few dollars from street vendors. I was deeply saddened. For a long time, after buying them, I would hide in my room and cry. I felt like my life was just like those clothes, from high-end brands to cheap street vendors' goods. He Kong, what color are your slippers? Blue. Then I'll get blue ones too. Liu Ruyan held a pair of special offer. Plastic slippers priced at 9.99 yuan. Her eyebrows were raised in excitement. Her eyes sparkled. Most people would look like this when buying an Hermes bag. I couldn't help but laugh. Welcome to my world. After Liu Ruyan and I finished tidying up the room and settled her things, it was already late at night. Liu Ruyan was curled up on the sofa. Her stomach rumbled loudly. Her face flushed slightly as she pretended to be calm and looked at me. I didn't have enough for dinner. I burst into laughter. The Liu Ruyan I remembered proud and carefree. A bit aloof. Turns out she can blush so easily. Wait here, I'll make you a bowl of noodles. I turned and walked to the kitchen. The kitchen had a floor-to-ceiling glass door, reflecting my figure like a mirror. In the reflection, it seemed like Liu Ruyan was excitedly swinging her fist. Maybe she was swatting at mosquitoes. I must have seen it wrong. There was still some leftover beef brisket in the fridge from yesterday. I sliced the beef and stir-fried it until fragrant. Then I fried a golden egg. A simple bowl of braised beef noodles was ready. Liu Ruyan sat at the table, staring at the food without eating. She just stared at the bowl of noodles with a serious expression. Her delicate face appeared dreamy in the steam. What's wrong? Eat it while it's hot. Through the mist rising from the bowl, Liu Ruyan lifted her gaze and stared at me. Under her gaze, my face started to flush. My eyes began to avoid hers. Why is Liu Ruyan looking at me so intently? It makes me feel kind of embarrassed. She ate the noodles seriously, with focus and heart. The expression on Liu Ruyan's face could almost be called devout. It was as if she wasn't eating a cheap packet of noodles I bought from the supermarket, but a Michelin restaurant's delicacy. I rested my chin in my hand, watching Liu Ruyan. The once quiet room had become lively and full of warmth with her presence. This is what peaceful years should feel like. The next morning, when I woke up to go to work, Liu Ruyan's room door was still closed. I made a simple sandwich, poured some milk, and placed it on the dining table. Then I quickly went off to work. The days with someone by my side, even amidst the busyness, felt filled with happiness. Breakfast is on the table. Remember to eat when you wake up. It suddenly dawned on me. The message I had just sent her felt like something a husband would send to his wife. After clocking in and sitting at my desk, my face was still red, which made Yu Meng look at me suspiciously a few times. There was a lot of work in the marketing department, with endless reports and planning to organize every day. I was so busy I hardly had time to check my phone. By the time I finished work, I finally noticed that my phone had a message from Liu Ruyan. I found a job after work. Let me treat you to a meal. Still not off work? I'm waiting for you at your company's building. I packed up my things and was about to leave when Yu Meng came over. She lightly tapped on my desk with her hand. Let's go, I'll treat you to a meal. And I'll also go over some important company details with you. Sorry, manager Yu. I've already made plans with a friend. Yu Meng's face showed some displeasure. This is the second time you've turned down your boss. Are you seeing a girlfriend now? She leaned forward, looking at me, her eyes revealing dissatisfaction. I placed the documents in the drawer and stood up. Manager Yu, I'm really sorry, but I've already made plans with a friend. Let's do it another day. Yu Meng's gaze made me feel very uncomfortable. The salary for this job is so rare for me. I don't want to lose it, and I don't want to have any interaction with Yu Meng other than work-related matters. When I finally got to the building, Liu Ruyan was already waiting by the door. Seeing her delicate figure, I adjusted my hair, slowed my pace, and walked toward her slowly. Have you been waiting long? Liu Ruyan's ears turned red, and she flashed me a brilliant smile. Let's go, I'll treat you to hot pot. Liu Ruyan told me she had also found a well-paying job, but it was a bit tough. She often had to work overtime. It was as an assistant to the department manager at a big company. The boss was particularly strict and always yelled at everyone. As I bit into the shrimp ball, while watching Liu Ruyan animatedly talk about her office experiences, I felt such joy building up inside me that it almost overflowed. She really is doing well. Liu Ruyan has found a job. She wasn't brought down by all the changes. She didn't lose heart. Instead, she's facing life head-on, working hard, bravely accepting the blows fate has dealt her. Liu Ruyan truly is amazing. After dinner, Liu Ruyan insisted on taking me shopping. She said she needed to buy a good razor since she'd started working. I desperately refused. Good razors are expensive. Even though my salary is higher now, I still need to save money to help my family buy a house. I can't waste money. I feel like ever since graduation, the goddess of luck has taken root in my life and started visiting me more frequently. Congratulations, sir. You are our 1,000th customer. To thank all our customers for their support, we're giving you a free razor set. Please sign here. The cashier, with a warm smile, carefully packaged the 2 boxes in her hands and handed them to me. Looking at the razor set worth 5 figures in my hands, I stood there questioning my life. I had never heard of this brand giving away gift sets for free. Have I been out of touch with high society for too long? Don't understand the marketing of luxury brands anymore? Liu Ruyan saw me standing still. She took the bag from my hands and playfully ruffled my hair. Not bad. Hey Kong, you're my invincible lucky star. I looked at Liu Ruyan and smiled foolishly. Maybe my luck is finally turning around. Liu Ruyan truly is my lucky star. After a while of shopping, we returned home. I put my things down and went to the balcony to collect the laundry. This is an older neighborhood, and the clothes rack on the balcony is the fixed type, not the kind that can be raised or lowered. I searched everywhere for the clothes pole, but couldn't find it anywhere. Strange, it should be in the balcony. I had no choice but to move a stool and stood on it to gather the clothes. Just as I had finished with 2 pieces, I felt someone press up behind me. Liu Ruyan wrapped her arms around my waist, her pretty face serious. Hey Kong, what you're doing is too dangerous. From now on, let me handle the laundry. I was still holding a white shirt in my hand and looking at Liu Ruyan's face just inches away. I felt like my heart was about to leap out of my throat. Let go of me, I whispered, my voice barely louder than a mosquito's buzz. Liu Ruyan's body was soft and slender, and her hands held me tightly. This was the first time I had ever been held like this by a girl. It was incredibly embarrassing. I quickly fled back to my room. My face flushed and I closed the door behind me. Leaning against the door, I tried to catch my breath. When my heart finally calmed down a little, I walked into the bathroom. But when I looked in the mirror, I saw a completely unfamiliar version of myself. The boy in the mirror had a bright red face, his eyes watery and wide. The corners of my mouth uncontrollably curved upwards. My entire face was flushed with shyness and hesitation. I had thought that my feelings for Liu Ruyan were just gratitude, understanding, and sympathy. But could it actually be liking her? I took out my phone and sent a message to my buddy. He's a relationship expert. So far, he's had 710 girlfriends. His goal is to have 12 girlfriends in a year. If you accidentally get hugged by a girl, and your heart starts racing, and you feel nervous, does that mean you like her? Is she pretty? I thought of Liu Ruyan's face. Just as beautiful as a movie star's. Sounds normal. Who wouldn't be nervous when a beautiful girl hugs you? We're all the same. I think you're absolutely right. A woman as beautiful as Liu Ruyan, anyone would be flustered if she hugged them. My parents are still waiting for me in the cramped old neighborhood. I need to focus on making money now. Everything else shouldn't be something I think about. I woke up, my face still red. I had dreamed all night long. The dream felt so real. It felt so real that I couldn't even make eye contact with Liu Ruyan in the morning. He Kong, wake up! Spring has already passed. When I finally rushed into the office, the HR manager introduced a new employee. He said he was the new addition to the marketing department. I looked up. Standing before me were three handsome, tall, and well-built young men. When they noticed my gaze, one of them winked at me. It was Liu Yang. In the break room, Liu Yang excitedly patted me on the shoulder. This is awesome, He Kong. I can't believe we're both working at the same company. How did you get into this company? This company is really hard to get into. I still owe a lot to my girlfriend. She pulled some strings and got me in. Liu Yang was as enthusiastic as ever. According to him, his girlfriend knew the daughter of the company's chairman, and through a personal favor, she managed to get him in. Have you got a girlfriend? Liu Yang casually adjusted the Rolex on his wrist, with a proud look on his face, but his words were nonchalant. She doesn't have much money, just a few properties and some stores. I guess her family's worth around tens of millions, but she's been quite generous to me. I smiled tightly. Liu Yang is the kind of guy who will never let his life turn out badly, no matter what. During work, Liu Ruyan was waiting by the door again. As I walked toward her, Liu Yang arrived right after me. Liu Ruyan? When Liu Yang saw Liu Ruyan and me together, he was stunned. He Kong, you and her? He looked back and forth between Liu Ruyan and me. Then he rushed up to me and pulled me aside. He Kong, are you and Liu Ruyan together? He urgently poked my head with his finger. Liu Ruyan is indeed beautiful, no doubt. After saying that, Liu Yang turned to give Liu Ruyan a once-over. Then he turned back, sighing regretfully at me. I admit it's hard to turn down a beauty like her. But we still need to eat. Right, He Kong? The better apartments in this city cost about 5,000 to 6,000 per square meter. You can't seriously expect to get married and have kids in a rented place, right? I laughed and helplessly swatted his finger away. What are you even talking about? No! Liu Ruyan's family is going through some difficulties. They have no place to stay. We're just sharing a rental right now. Liu Yang sucked in a breath of cold air. I glanced back and saw Liu Ruyan frowning impatiently. Liu Yang, I'm heading out now. We can talk more about this tomorrow at work. I jogged over to Liu Ruyan and looked up at her. The frown on her face immediately softened. Why are you here? Let's go buy groceries. What do you like to eat? I'll make you some of my specialty dishes. Liu Ruyan looked at me with a silly grin. Her dark pupils shone brightly in the sunlight. I like everything you make. Her sweet voice was full of warmth and amusement. My face instantly turned red. My heart began to race uncontrollably again. Liu Ruyan's words have been so strange lately. When we got to the market, we stopped at a vegetable stall. The vendor was a young man in his 30s. Seeing us, he greeted us with great enthusiasm. Wow, what a beautiful young couple. You two make such a perfect pair. What would you like to buy? I'll give you a 20% discount. I blushed and quickly waved my hand. We're not a couple. We're just friends. We locked eyes. Both of us blushed. That's so sweet. Your eyes are like strands of silk. No wonder you two are such a perfect young couple in love. The vegetable stall owner kept shouting from the side. Here, let me give you a bag of tomatoes. These tomatoes are as sweet as you two. That evening, Liu Ruyan and I sat quietly at the dining table. We both remained silent, not speaking a word. I picked up some scrambled eggs with tomatoes and placed them in my bowl. Unable to resist, I looked at Liu Ruyan. Our eyes met. In a panic, I quickly looked down. I got choked up because I was so nervous. Liu Ruyan hurried over and patted my back. She even handed me a glass of water. He Kong, are you okay? I coughed so hard that tears started to well up in my eyes. After drinking 2 sips of water, I was about to say I was fine, but I realized Liu Ruyan was too close to me. She was small in stature. At that moment, she was bent over, leaning toward me, nervously looking at me. One of her hands was still resting on my back. Her palm was so warm. The warm air from her breath blew gently against my face, like cherry blossoms blooming in the spring breeze. Fresh and sweet. How could someone's breath smell so good? I couldn't help but lean closer. I gently inhaled. Liu Ruyan seemed startled by my action. She froze, not moving. Her eyelashes were so long, casting a shadow across her face. My gaze followed from her bright eyes, all the way down to her delicate nose, her finely shaped chin. The sudden ringing of the phone shattered the heavy atmosphere. Liu Ruyan and I quickly turned around, both of us taking deep breaths. I glanced at the phone. It was a call from Liu Yang. I need to take this call. After saying that, I pressed my hand to my rapidly beating heart and ran into the room. Liu Yang, surprised by my reaction. Are you two kissing? I cleared my throat. What are you talking about? We were just having dinner. Be honest with me, He Kong. Do you like Liu Ruyan? Do I like Liu Ruyan? I touched my chest and replied. Something inside me was churning loudly, shouting to break free. I'm not sure. At first, I just felt sorry for her. I thought she was pitiful. Then I admired her. I thought she was respectable. Sometimes I even think she's really cute. Does that count as liking her? Liu Yang's clear voice came through the phone. No, it doesn't count. It's not love. Love isn't scary. What's scary is when a man starts to feel sympathy for a woman. You've fallen for Liu Ruyan. He Kong, you're done for. You've fallen in love. I sheepishly came out of the room, blushing as I sat back down to continue eating. Liu Ruyan wasn't in the room anymore. It seemed like she had gone out for something. Like a zombie, I finished eating and cleaned up the kitchen. My mind filled with Liu Yang's words, "You've fallen in love." Just then, Liu Ruyan's message came through. He Kong, there's something at home. I won't be coming home tonight. Lock the door properly. Don't wait for me. I closed the door with a sense of disappointment. I had no idea what had happened at Liu Ruyan's home. The next day, I arrived at the office with 2 huge dark circles under my eyes, only to be told that I had to go on a business trip to the Northeast for a week. You all need to go home and pack your bags. The flight is at 11 a.m. Hurry up. In a rush, I hurried home, packed my things, and sat with Liu Yang in the car heading to the airport. There had been a major issue with the marketing department in the Northeast. Several sales departments had been surrounded by people claiming there were serious quality issues with the products. Yu Meng took me, Liu Yang, and another female colleague on this business trip. On the road, I was worried about the company's situation. but I also felt disappointed inside. Thinking I wouldn't be able to see Liu Ruyan for a week, I took out my phone and sent Liu Ruyan a message. Liu Ruyan, there's an urgent matter at the company. I have to go on a business trip to Harbin for a week. I'll be leaving on the noon flight. Is everything okay at your place? The 1-hour car ride felt endless. I checked my phone at least 100 times, but it remained silent, lying there. No calls, no messages. I sluggishly followed Yumeng and the others towards the boarding gate. Just then, a hurried female voice called out, "He Kong." I turned toward the voice. Liu Ruyan was running toward me, taking big strides. Liu Ruyan's fair, delicate face flushed a light pink from running. Her short, messy hair was slightly damp. She reached me, catching her breath. Her features relaxed, and she broke into the brightest, most dazzling smile. Her eyes sparkled, like they were filled with an entire galaxy of stars. I stood there, dazed, staring at Liu Ruyan. Aren't you supposed to be at work? Why are you here at the airport? Liu Ruyan looked at me steadily, her gaze filled with an indescribable softness. I just wanted to see you off. Just then, Yumeng walked over. He Kong, stop stalling, it's time to board. Liu Yang, signaling with his eyes, also came over to pull me along. Alright, let's go. If we don't leave now, we'll miss the flight. I was being pulled by Liu Yang, turning back every few steps. Go back, Liu Ruyan. Liu Yang turned back to look at Liu Ruyan, while still pulling me forward. If someone didn't know better, they'd think it was some tragic farewell. The Titanic should have cast you two for the roles of Jack and Rose. Even Jack and Rose would feel ashamed seeing you two parting like this. Hey, He Kong! Isn't it the hardest to bear the beauty's kindness? Liu Ruyan is really good at this. No wonder you're willing to jump into the fire, knowing it's a trap. Can't stop you, can I? If she had looked at me like that back then, I'd probably have kids by now. On the plane, Liu Yang sat beside me, still muttering to himself, not envious, not admiring. Still, having money is the best. Better to cry in a BMW than to laugh on a bicycle. Especially when you have kids in the future. Looks can't buy baby formula or diapers. No matter how good-looking someone is, they'll eventually age. Sigh, but we only live once. Money doesn't come with us when we're born, and it doesn't go with us when we die. Spending a lifetime with such a beautiful woman, just thinking about it makes me want to eat an extra bowl of rice. I couldn't help but laugh and shake my head at him. Is he getting too caught up in his own little drama? He's even more excited than I am, the one actually involved. As I was about to fasten my seatbelt, Yumeng walked over and swapped seats with Liu Yang. I closed my eyes and pretended to sleep. Yumeng's low voice echoed in my ear. Girlfriend, I heard her family went bankrupt. He Kong, after all these years, you're still so naive. Manager you. This is my personal business. It doesn't really concern you, does it? Your assistant position pays around 7,000 to 8,000 a month. Just enough to support yourself, don't you think? So, are you still thinking about supporting a woman? I turned my head without saying anything, but my mind was full of questions. 7,000 to 8,000? My salary is clearly 25,000. Why would Yumeng say 7,000 to 8,000? The summer in the Northeast wasn't as hot as in the South. My mind was split in two. Half of me was focused on work. The other half had already flown to Liu Ruyan. Yumeng's gaze toward me grew increasingly dissatisfied. After she had said that once, I pulled all my thoughts back and fully immersed myself in work. After a few days of overtime and hard work, I finally managed to resolve everything successfully. Yumeng took us out for a celebration dinner. Everyone at the table had a little to drink. She suggested that she had something to discuss with me, so I followed her to the park across from the hotel. He Kong, I know about your recent situation. It must be exhausting, fighting on your own. Yumeng's gaze flickered with a sense of probing and determination. but all I felt was an indescribable sense of irritation. What exactly do you want to say? Yu Meng stared at me, her expression darkening. He Kong, your family ran into trouble not long ago. My family went bankrupt too. It was the same year I graduated. I wanted to look for you afterward, but I had my own struggles to deal with. By the time I managed to get back on my feet, the time had passed and I lost all contact with you. Now, after all these years, running into you again, I realize I've never forgotten you. I can give you a better life. I can buy you a house in this city. You won't even need to work anymore. I tilted my head back, staring at this familiar yet distant face. The once racing heart had long been washed away by time. Now, my heart and soul, my thoughts, are filled only with Liu Ruyan. I have a girlfriend now. I love her very much. Manager Yu, I need to get some rest now. Behind me, I heard Yu Meng's frustrated shout. He Kong, you'll regret this. I'll wait for you to come back and beg me. Dragging my weary body off the plane, I arrived at the pickup area. But there, I saw a young man in a suit. His handsome features were carefully groomed. He looked quite handsome. When he saw me and Liu Yang, his gaze darkened slightly, especially when he saw me. It was obvious that he was taken aback. So this is your capable subordinate? Since it's such a coincidence that we've met, why don't you bring him along to the dinner? Consider it a way to reward your assistant. Seeing Yu Ming's awkward expression, I suddenly realized. So she's already married. Hey, I thought she was trying to pursue me. Liu Yang subtly rolled his eyes. Manager Yu, we won't disturb you any longer. The chairman of your company is my uncle. The things I say here are much more influential than what Manager Yu can say. The young man raised his eyebrows arrogantly. He looked at me and Liu Yang with a sneer. Manager Yu, then I guess we'll have to follow your instructions. Looking at Liu Yang, who changed his expression faster than he changed clothes, I couldn't help but admire him. My name is Zhongming. Zhongming arrogantly lifted his head, linking arms with Yu Meng as they walked away. Liu Yang and I sat in the taxi, following Yu Meng and their car. I used to think Yu Meng was a young beauty, but it turns out it's all because of her connections. This Zhongming is trying to put us in our place, wanting to show us the gap between us, trying to make us back off. It seems that being misunderstood is the fate of handsome men. Liu Yang, while pulling out a mirror to fix his hair, kept talking non-stop to me. I was distracted and pulled out my phone. I saw that Liu Ruyan had sent me a message. Sorry, I won't be able to pick you up at the airport. There's something at the company tonight. I'll be home later than expected. When you get home, I have a gift for you. Liu Ruyan. Is she planning to confess her feelings to me tonight? If she doesn't confess, then I guess it's not impossible for me to confess first. I pressed the phone to my chest, feeling a surge of love rising from deep within. It felt like it could block out the sky and the sun. Liu Yang looked at my silly grin. With a slightly sour tone, he said, He Kong, have you really thought this through? Liu Ruyan is beautiful, yes. But with your job, how can you afford a house or a car? This is probably as good as it gets for you in this life. Luxury homes and expensive cars will have nothing to do with you. I never needed those things anyway. Fighting together with someone is great too. Through thick and thin, I'm not worried about our lives being bad. You're such a love-struck fool. Wake up, will you? Liu Yang reached out and poked my head with his finger. Zhongming's house is in a villa district. It's extravagantly decorated. After showing us around a little, as if to flaunt, he had the servant take us to the guest room to change clothes. He said he had prepared formal wear for us. Looking at the luxurious guest room, Liu Yang's eyes were practically glowing with envy. Yu Meng really married into a rich family. Why do people always know how to pick a good husband? I remembered what Yu Meng had said last night. So she plans to use her husband's money to support a lover. Zhongming had someone take me to his room alone. He said he needed to talk to me. You're Yu Meng's first love, aren't you? Seeing his unfriendly expression, I had a puzzled look on my face. Stop pretending. I've seen your high school photo in Yu Meng's house. She kept it very well. Mr. Zhang, whether you believe it or not, we are just neighbors. And since I moved, we've never spoken again. Nothing happened before, and nothing will happen in the future. I looked at Zhang Ming seriously, speaking slowly and clearly. He curled his lips in disdain. I heard your family went bankrupt, and you're still working as an assistant? Although we're worlds apart, completely different, it's clear that today's young men, especially the ones chasing after other people's girls, are filled with desire and ambition. He looked me up and down, his gaze briefly flickering with jealousy. From tomorrow on, I hope I never see you in this company again. I'm starting to understand why Liu Yang is trying so hard to climb the ranks. Chasing after people's efforts is like bubbles. It looks magnificent and dreamy, but with just a poke from a rich person, it shatters. I sighed, stood up, and looked at Zhang Ming. Mr. Zhang, I can leave now. That's not possible. You're staying for the dinner tonight, and later I'll show you what it means to be dazzled by wealth. I watched as Zhang Ming pretended to cover his mouth and laugh. Unable to take it anymore, I walked towards the door. If you leave now, then you and Liu Yang can both resign tomorrow. A detached male voice came from behind. The tone was light, but carried an undeniable authority. I remembered how Liu Yang excitedly talked about how hard he worked to get into this company. My clenched fist loosened. I'll go change. I'll submit my resignation tomorrow. Everything as Mr. Zhang wishes. In the guest room, Liu Yang was still eagerly picking out clothes. Zhang Ming had sent 2 sets of evening wear. Do you prefer the black one or the gray one? The black one is stylish. The gray one is elegant. How about we try both? Won't you be upset? He brought us here, but it's not for good intentions. Looking at Liu Yang's excitement, I couldn't help but ask, why would I be upset? If he wants to show off his wealth, let him do it. The food at the banquet will definitely be high-end. I just want to show off by eating. If I had to pay for a ticket, it'd probably cost 8,000 or more. Now we get to enjoy it for free. Why would I be unhappy? At this point, Liu Yang had already changed into the black tuxedo. He looked tall and handsome. He was admiring himself in the mirror, spinning around with a delighted expression. What an incredibly handsome man! I couldn't help but laugh. The banquet was being held at an upscale private club. The club was located in a famous scenic area in our city. It had a bit of the greatness in the midst of the mundane zen vibe. As soon as we entered the banquet hall, Liu Yang's eyes widened. He squeezed my hand tightly. Oh my god! So many beautiful women. No, wait, so many rich women. Ah, we came here too early, didn't we? Zhang Ming stood aside, his expression proud. There are no regular rich women here tonight. Only those with assets in the billions. If you're not worth $1 billion, you don't even qualify to enter. You two are brought in by me. Stay close to me later. Don't embarrass me. Zhang Ming gave us a cold glance, then walked off with confidence. I looked around at the excessively luxurious venue, feeling completely out of place. This world belongs to them, and I have nothing. They say all roads lead to Rome, but some people are born in Rome. What ordinary people spend their entire lives striving for, they already have from birth. This is not a world I should be in. Thinking about my work, I couldn't help but feel a pang of sympathy for myself. Liu Ruyan was the one who encouraged me to come here. But when I resign, I don't even know how to explain it to her. In the end, it will all be an empty dream. From the moment I first sought you out, this charming young man. Can we be friends on social media? A young woman in an evening gown was standing next to him. She was probably in her early 30s, tall and slim, with delicate features. but her eyes had a slight dark ring around them. She looked like she wasn't in the best health. I politely declined after she asked. She stubbornly shoved the business card into my hand. Only then did she turn around and walk away. Zhongming leaned in closer. That just now was Miss Liu, a cousin of the Liu family from Liu Group. Just a small glimpse of her hand and holding even a tiny fraction could ensure you a lifetime of wealth. You really have no eye for talent. Her last name is also Liu. Liu Group. Liu Yang also leaned in, eager for gossip. It's normal if you haven't heard of them. Liu Group is very low-key. They have many companies. The people who control them are all hidden in the background. That is the true definition of a powerful family. If you added up the net worth of everyone here, it probably wouldn't be enough to catch the Liu family's eye. No one really knows how many assets they have. Liu Yang stared wide-eyed in disbelief. Is this the kind of thing they portray in dramas? A chaebol? Zhongming nodded arrogantly. Pretty much, yes. Tonight, the second young lady of Liu Group will be coming. Consider yourselves lucky. You'll get to see what a true heaven-born lady is like. Just then, a commotion erupted at the entrance. A group of bodyguards surrounded a young woman, marching forward in a grand procession. The second young lady of the Liu family is here. Zhongming's voice rang with a hint of excitement. Liu Yang and I focused our attention, and the woman before us was dressed in a black evening gown. Her figure was petite and slender, her features exquisite. She walked with careless confidence, yet exuded an air of imperious superiority. I had never seen someone as dazzling as Liu Yan. She stood there, effortlessly captivating. Her face carried the familiar expression of impatience and indifference, but it was as if she had a spotlight following her. Her beauty was so captivating that it was impossible to look away. The crowd hesitated for a moment before surging forward, their expressions filled with flattery and admiration. Liu Yan. Liu Yang beside me let out a sharp gasp, his voice high-pitched and loud. Everyone turned to look at us in response. I quietly observed Liu Yan, her radiance shining like the rising sun in the east, cutting through the distance between us. It was as though a vast galaxy lay between us, an insurmountable chasm, a gap I could never cross. Liu Yan's expression changed in an instant, the carefree look on her face replaced with panic and nervousness. I took a step back, then turned and ran. He Kong. Liu Yan's petite frame moved quickly. In just a few steps, she caught up to me. She grabbed my arm and encircled me, frantically explaining. He Kong, let me explain. The crowd, finally realizing what was happening, erupted into a loud uproar, the noise almost shaking the roof. Liu Yang and Zhongming beside me stood frozen, their mouths agape in shock, so stunned that they forgot to manage their expressions. I blinked, my eyes red, my thoughts swirling. The low rent of 2,000 yuan, the outrageous monthly salary of 25,000, and the bizarre, unexpected prize-winning razor from the counter. Suddenly all had a reasonable explanation. Liu Yan. Before I could finish speaking, tears had already begun to roll down my face. My heart felt both sour and bitter. 70% of it was anger, yet mixed with 3 parts disappointment and 3 parts relief. I was angry that Liu Yan had deceived me, relieved that Liu Yan's family hadn't gone bankrupt. She still had a bright future ahead, disappointed that this brief moment in the end would be nothing more than a fleeting dream. There would never be a future for Liu Yan and me. Liu Yan looked at me, her face full of nervousness. Her eyes revealed urgency and pleading. He Kong, don't go! Please, let me explain. I tilted my head back, tears in my eyes, and spoke, each word heavy, let go. Liu Yan's eyes reddened as well. She hesitated, torn, but in the end, she released her hold. I pushed her away and walked toward the door. The people whispered about me, but spontaneously parted to make a path. My heart throbbed painfully. My love had barely been mine. Yet it was already lost. I had only briefly embraced my moon, and now she had returned to her stars. My tears, which had dried, could not be contained, and fell large and heavy. The once quiet crowd suddenly erupted into noise again. Before I could react, Liu Ruyan cupped my face in her hands and urgently kissed me. It was like a traveler parched in the desert finally encountering rain. Love, it's something you can leave untouched. But once you do touch it, it's like a floodgate that's been opened, impossible to control. I, on the other hand, was Liu Ruyan's. At that moment, all reason and calculation vanished into thin air. All I wanted was to kiss my lover properly. The crowd around us was filled with gasps and sobs. A crisp sound echoed. It was the clear sound of glass shattering. Someone must have accidentally dropped a glass, and it jolted both Liu Ruyan and me from our immersion in the moment. We looked around and saw a sea of people staring at us. My face turned bright red with embarrassment. I never imagined that my first kiss would be under such intense scrutiny. Liu Ruyan kissed my forehead gently, then turned and walked briskly toward the door. I rested my face on her shoulder, and from the corner of my eye, I caught a glimpse of Liu Yang, his face full of excitement and disbelief. After Liu Ruyan led me to the car, he called, "I miss you so much." Her fragmented words were lost in our kiss. We kissed our way back to the room nearly the entire journey, and when she closed the door behind us, she turned and stared at me. I looked at the woman in front of me, and all the love in my heart surged uncontrollably, unavoidable. When I woke up, it was already the middle of the night. I sat up and looked at Liu Ruyan, who was sleeping peacefully beside me. Her thick lashes fluttered gently as she slept with her eyes closed. I stroked her face, feeling a pang of sadness, as though tears were on the verge of falling. We were never meant to be. Television dramas and novels often come from reality. So instead of ending with us resenting each other for being mismatched, it would be better to forget each other and move on. At least then we could have a sweet and beautiful memory, and she wouldn't look back on me with nothing but disdain. I quietly got up, changed my clothes, placed the key on the dining table, and carefully closed the door before leaving. The house belonged to Liu Ruyan. The job was also arranged by her. Just as when I arrived, I too quietly left the city. I returned to my hometown. Life there was simple and peaceful. The workplace was not far from home, and every evening after work, I could enjoy meals prepared by my parents. The three of us would share our daily experiences, talk about small family matters, and though life was humble, it was happy. I blocked Liu Ruyan's phone number and her green bubbles. At first, she used Liu Yang's phone to call me relentlessly. After I hung up a few times, she stopped insisting on finding me. Liu Yang told me that our sudden departure that day had caused quite a stir in the Liu family. Liu Ruyan faced tremendous pressure from her family. That must have been why she eventually stopped looking for me. In a way, it was for the best. Is the bridge, the road is the road. But I missed Liu Ruyan so much. I missed her like crazy. If longing had a sound, it would surely be deafening. I threw myself into my work, filling the emptiness in my heart with countless tasks. I stayed busy like this for 2 months. Then I suddenly received an invitation to my college class president's wedding. He called, "You have to come." I also heard about what happened between you and Liu Ruyan. I didn't expect the Liu family to be this powerful. Don't worry, she definitely won't come. A rich young lady like her is from a completely different world than us. Liu Yang was being all loud and insistent that I go with him. He said it had been a long time since we hung out together. My parents noticed that I hadn't been in a good mood lately and encouraged me to go out, have fun, and clear my mind. I thought about it for a moment and figured meeting up with some classmates wouldn't be a bad idea. As I looked at the grand sea of flowers in front of me, I was stunned by the dreamlike beauty of the scene. Liu Yang. Did the class president win the lottery or something? Did they win a few hundred million? Come on, tell me honestly. I'm not jealous. Liu Yang stared wide-eyed, covering his mouth. His expression filled with awe. Oh my god, just the flowers alone. It must have cost millions to pull this off, right? This is truly a big budget affair. I don't know what he was thinking, but then he broke into a silly grin. The class president rushed over excitedly, telling me to relax and take it easy today. That the groomsmen were short one person, and asked if I could be a groomsman tomorrow morning. Liu Yang and I strolled through the sea of flowers, surrounded by countless blossoms, breathing in the intoxicating fragrance. I couldn't help but feel a pang of bitterness. Did the class president's wife bankrupt her family to pay for this wedding? I remember her family was supposed to be just a modest, middle-class household. This is true love, huh? Liu Yang nodded dreamily. This is the wedding every man dreams of. How am I ever going to get married after this? Damn it! That evening, everyone gathered together for dinner. Somehow, the conversation shifted to Liu Ruyan. I've always thought that Liu Ruyan girl, with her aura and looks, she's definitely no ordinary person. She's truly from a prestigious family. I heard her family wants to send her abroad to attend a top university, but she refused to go and insisted on staying in the country. Liu Ruyan doesn't need a degree to add shine to her life. She is already the brightest gem in the whole mountain. Those who used to mock Liu Ruyan all had a different tune to sing. She and we are from two completely different worlds. Early in the morning, Liu Yang pulled me out of bed. I was still half asleep, my eyes barely open, watching a crowd of people rush into the room. Hurry! Get your makeup done, or you'll be late. Someone pushed me into a chair to do my makeup. Another person fussed with my hair from behind. I was completely confused. Are you sure you've got the right person? I'm the groomsman, you know. No mistake. Our groomsman look is very refined, too. The groom wanted all the groomsmen to look like princes. This request seemed a bit outrageous, but on the wedding day, the groom's wishes are the priority. I closed my eyes and let them do their thing, feeling like I just wanted to crawl back into bed for a nap. All right, you can go change now. I looked at myself in the mirror, all dashing and handsome, feeling a bit embarrassed. Is this really okay? Isn't it a bit too much, stealing the spotlight? After all, today is the class president's wedding. The makeup artist pulled back the curtain. Before me was a luxurious, vintage-style gown. Countless tiny diamonds on the dress sparkled in the light, sending out dazzling beams of brilliance, captivating everyone, making it hard to look away. Everyone around me was immersed in the beauty of this dress, unable to snap out of it for a long time. We're running out of time. The makeup artist was the first to snap back to reality, and then came rushing over to start undressing me. Are you kidding me? This is a groomsman's outfit? Is this what a groomsman's outfit looks like? Oh, the other groomsman's outfit is even more extravagant than yours. Today's theme is the Prince series. The groom wants us all to look like royalty. Before I could even respond, several people started getting to work, helping me change. I was pulled into my new clothes, and when I looked at myself in the mirror, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. This was the image I had dreamed of myself in a suit. A carefully styled hairdo, handsome features, a tall, solid frame, and the luxurious gown. At this moment, I looked like a real prince. Surrounded by everyone, I walked to the wedding scene. Liu Yang slipped a bouquet of flowers into my hand, and then pushed me onto the stage. The music played, and petals fell like rain from the sky. I raised my eyes, unsure of what was happening. In front of me was Liu Ruyan, her eyes red, but smiling brightly. Step by step, she slowly and steadily walked up to me. "He Kong, will you marry me?" Everyone in the crowd began to cheer. Marry her. I looked around and saw many familiar faces. including my parents. It turned out I was attending my own wedding. I smiled and nodded.